Hi, I was wondering what to make this video about today, and I thought of the idea I had about inertia, what Americans would call inertia dampening, um, in some movies, of course. But I found out that the actual term inertia dampening is supposed to be inertia damping, which is English language again, of course, which is kind of interesting. Um, those of you who don't know what inertia dampening really is, if you're driving along in a car, if you're driving along the car like this, where am I? You're driving along the car like this, and the car goes around the corner. You're sitting in the car like that, and you go, and the car goes around the corner like that, so you get pushed into the opposite side of the car. So you're driving along the car like this, and the car turns that way, right? And you go, and you're pushed over like this, and because your body is trying to sit stationary, and the car is trying to turn, so you get pushed into the side of the car. So you'll get pushed and pulled around because you're trying to stay still and the car is trying to move. Inertia damping is such that, say you're sitting on a seat holding a saucer with a cup on it and a cup of tea right there. If you're traveling in a car going 100 miles an hour with your cup of tea on a saucer like that, and then you're strapped in, and then the car instantaneously stops. Your neck will be snapped for one thing, but if you're completely strapped in, so you can't move, and other than your arms, of course, and you're holding that cup, holding that saucer like that, the cup and the thing becomes part of the windshield, because it is going at 100 kilometers an hour. The vehicle stops, so the cup continues to go at 100 kilometers an hour, and it smashes either through the front windscreen or all over the front windscreen or over the back of the seat that the driver's in, and scalds the neck and shoulders of the driver, which he won't terribly be happy about. So what's inertia damping? Inertia damping, if there was inertia damping within the vehicle, then you could sit with your cup, with your saucer on your hand and the cup on there, and the vehicle could be traveling 1,000,000 miles an hour and do a 90-degree turn or do a complete stop instantaneously, and you wouldn't even have a ripple in the tea. You wouldn't realize. You'd be sitting in a stationary room while everything outside moves, and it moves really, really quickly, or it moves slowly, or it turns, or it does one thing or another, but you don't notice anything. And that's complete damping of the inertia, of the forces of gravity, basically, on you personally and everything inside the vehicle. Now, the internet will tell you that inertia damping is impossible. The internet, when I did a study on it and a bit of research on it at that time, that was a while ago, but I did one, and it states that there are no theories on it. I couldn't find any theories on it. I couldn't even find any theories on how it could possibly be done. There are theories on inertia damping to tell you definition, to tell you what it is, but no real theories on how to do it. but I came up with one. It is only a theory, and much like the snowballing of ideas, the video that I made in the past, that it depends on having something, having a damping system that you know about. Well, as soon as you know about it, of course you have a damping system, don't you? And you wouldn't be really making a video saying that oh, this is a brand new damping system, when you already know that it works as a damping system. Okay, so you would have to have the theory about why you're experimenting with this wave, that wave, this bit of light or that bit of light, or this gas or that gas. Obviously something you can breathe, otherwise you'd be dead. Look, there's a dead body doing an experiment, and stuff. But you would have to have an idea about what you're trying to do before you do it, and this hopefully is an idea that you could have when you try to do it. Okay, so you get a substance, gas, a light spectrum or something that you can stand under, and it doesn't have any harmful effects on you. Doesn't give you cancer, doesn't do anything. But if that propels an object off the ground, by shining it down, it propels an object off the ground, and therefore it fights against the gravity, then you could pump that substance into the vehicle with the equal amount of force of it pumping into the vehicle as it is pushing down, and therefore pushing backwards so that you're pushing forwards. Then you wouldn't know that you were moving, because you would have the same forces throughout the vehicle that you're traveling in as you do when you're stopped. You would have the same forces. I was just thinking about gravity. If you went up, if you were fighting gravity at a certain point in time and you were going up to a certain level, does that mean you suddenly have no gravity, or there's no gravity underneath your vehicle, or whatever? Do you have then gravity in your vehicle at the same time? In which case you would give you a weightless feeling, but can't really think about that at this moment in time. But I was thinking that if you had this stuff pumping into the vehicle at the same forces that was pushing down on the vehicle and therefore pushing your vehicle along, then you wouldn't feel anything. It'd be exactly the same as if you were stationary. Now, if you were stationary inside your vehicle and the vehicle was traveling at a very fast rate of knots and then decided to do a 90-degree turn, you wouldn't know the vehicle is even moving. Now, when it does the 90-degree turn, of course, it'll all fall apart, but you wouldn't know it's moving. And that is an idea of damping. I was thinking, if you were sitting with an aqualung and you were sitting in a fish tank, big fish tank, and the fish tank was inside a vat of oil, and that vat of oil was sitting inside of another fish tank, and everything, and maybe even you're sitting in oil, which is sitting in water, which is sitting in oil, which is sitting water, which is sitting oil, and you were hurtling down the road and you stopped. would you feel it? Yeah, you'd feel the rope tug because it would be trying to move at the same speed. But if the rope was coming down and wound up next to you and then the rope went at then, you wouldn't feel the tug of the eventual as it wheeled up around the side thing, then up over the tank. It'll be just wound up and next to you. Would you feel it? Would you feel it stop? Because technically speaking, your tank would move in the water. But if that tank was sitting in oil, would it really move? Don't know. So you're sitting in a substance that has got as much pressure pressing back at you as it is downwards, and it's not non-harmful to you, and you can walk around in it like free as a bird. Would you still feel the force of the gravity? But then again, would you be floating around in the air? That's interesting. Never thought about that. Would you feel the gravity? Would you feel the force pushing you forwards when the vehicle stops? I don't know that you would. And it's very interesting, I think, to think that if you have something that's pushing you down, if something is pushing inwards on you, would you know that you'd stopped? Would there be inertia within the vehicle? The answer to that for many scientists would be yes. But if you had a substance that combated gravity, possibly you would be weightless in the vehicle. Inside the vehicle, if something was rotating and giving yourself a artificial gravity within the vehicle, and the vehicle itself was fighting against the gravity of the planet, then the vehicle's gravity, the vehicle's independent gravity is not moving. In which case, if the exterior fighting of the gravity was equal to gravity, then you would not feel it move. You would see out your window that the world is moving past you, and you wouldn't move. You wouldn't feel it. And I think that's kind of cool to think about. And in essence, there's a theory for you. The internet, if it says there's no theories on the internet, once this hits YouTube, that's wrong. There's a theory. Now, of course, you can't travel through space in oil, in an aqualung, immersed in water, immersed in oil, immersed in oil. But if you come across that which creates that force, that'd be kind of cool, don't you think? Anywho, have a good day, and hopefully that gives you something to think about for the rest of the day. God's sakes, this guy is nuts. But if you even like an idea, a little wee tinsy bit of idea, you like anything that I've said, and you just hate the beard, but you like anything that I've said. I like the beard, by the way. I think it's rather cool, really. So, yeah. Like anything that I've said, you can either like the video, which is fine, but if you do like the video, share it with your friends. Maybe one or two of them might like it as well. If you like the video, just hit subscribe. Now, I've said in the past, in my past videos, I really don't care if you hit subscribe or not. And to clarify that more is that it really comes down to choice. You choose in your life to have fun or not. You choose whether you're going to have a shower today or tomorrow. You choose whether your teeth are going to happen to be brushed today, tomorrow, or the next day. You choose to go to the dentist after that and have all your teeth pulled out because you haven't been brushing your teeth. You choose whether you're going to hit subscribe or not. And in that way, it's your choice. And how is that me telling you, you have to subscribe? You don't have to subscribe. It's your choice. But if you do like it in any which way, just hit subscribe. It'll be great. And you have a good day and keep up those thoughts. And if you come across something, write it on a piece of paper, stick it in your pocket, and write it down on Facebook. And then maybe some scientist, freakazoid, some might come along and say, I know the perfect thing that I can use with that. It'd be great. The world would be a better place. Think about it. Have a good day.